Oh, wait, so it's light okay now?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been told I'm meant to stand really close to this microphone. Is that right? Does that sound good? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a hard act to follow now. That was too good.
You should have brought the biscuits for everyone.
We need to tamp it down a little bit.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm never able to follow that. Thank you, April, for organizing. Thank you for including me. I haven't read in a long time, but I brought you all a short story tonight, and it's a short story, so it really won't be very long at all, but it's the whole thing. When April said it was going to be about desire lines, that was going to be the theme tonight, I sort of thought of desire lines as getting from A to B as the shortest distance possible. It's a shortcut that people take. And that doesn't fit with the story, really. This is really more of a circle somehow. And that's not helpful at all. It's not good. I don't know why I tell you that. Anyway, the story is called The 10,000th Time. The day after it was over, I bought a bottle of moisturizer, a box of whole milk, and a ticket back home from Iceland. The day before, he threatened, 4 years is 5 years too long, as if he'd had the chance to hate what I was before he'd ever known me. I'd almost understood him. To begin the ending, he sat me down in the dark early hours of our horrible little living room in midwinter heat. Nearly underground, our apartment used to be a cellar, with a sidewalk crossing halfway up the windows. He brewed coffee, too finely ground, so every last sip finished with bitter silt. His coffee was a medicine for the morning, to whet your awareness, so he didn't take milk to cut the sharp taste. Although I'd asked for some the night before on his late night run to the corner store he'd neglected, he knew he wouldn't be making my coffee again. The bowls of water on the radiators had gone dry some time in the night, and when my skin rubbed, it felt like a dry sponge. He retold me the name of the foster girl who'd grown up next door to him, how like her I was, how he couldn't resist unfamiliar things, even if he knew better. Half Danish, half Greenlandic, she spoke no English, so they traded foreign words like some kids trade baseball cards, although English is my language, not his. The girl liked the English word pillow because it felt soft in the mouth, she'd said, just like the thing in the world. The summer before he left their small town for university, the girl tried to kill herself in the family garage. She never got a license, so she put the car in neutral and pushed it into the driveway by hand. And then she lowered the door and sat in the middle of the space where the car had been and tried to end herself by drinking all the chemical cleaner she could find in the house. 3 days after we'd moved into the apartment and were still eating from our laps, we found a table at the flea market. It became kitchen counter, dining table, drafting desk, computer worktop, racking station, and meeting place. It was whatever we wanted it to be in a deeply marred walnut slab. Or so we thought. When I began to refinish it, in fewer than 10 strokes I had rubbed through the veneer to particle board, which crumbled under even the brush of my fingers. He bought a yellow vinyl tablecloth, bright as a Mexican restaurant, to cover it. But every time we sat down, the particles came loose, caused the vinyl to slip and drop. All the friction made the particles fall to the floor in white piles. Snowdrifts inside, I thought. And like a housewife, I swept it up every day before he came home, and every morning there was more. We made an agreement. My sacrifice was moving here. My reward was not having to work, not in the beginning. First I learned the language and sweep the floor. My father told me once that the key to mastery is repetition. You must repeat a task 10,000 times before you master it. I could be the master of intending to go to the pool, of wanting to pet strange dogs on their walks past our eye-level windows, of sweeping our floor. I want to say I'll miss my husband, but I'm certain I'll miss Dasha. I met her in a language course offered by the University for Foreign Brides. She used to be a civil engineer in Minsk, but here she takes my arm and calls me her brother and we wander down aisles. She has bottle blonde hair like an Icelander, but her face is rounder and her eyes less trusting. She wears a short gray rabbit fur jacket with a tall fox fur collar and tells people it was a parting gift from a recently dead grandmother. She tells them she's not pretty enough for new clothes. She seeds the kernel for goodwill. Her husband is wealthy, but she doesn't spin like it. She's not a compulsive buyer. She's a compulsive trier-oner. Taking a pair of leather leggings to the fitting room, spearing the smoked trout sample from the paper cup at the upscale grocery, pondering the taste, the aftertaste, holding a string of freshwater pearls to her neck at collar length, that princess judging the heft in her hand, but only rarely to the cash register. It's not the purchase that's the high, it's the possibility, and I see the family resemblance. From this point, when I think in a straight line, it takes me to my real sister, who's someplace in North Texas. She sends me updates on our father and our nation and doesn't expect me to reply. She reads Newsweek and keeps a comb in a plastic baggie in her purse. Growing up, she used to use it on me with spit to flatten my cowlicks. I know it's still there, like I know it's in my nightstand, though I haven't opened it in months. My sister doesn't think I remember, but I used to let her use me as a canvas for drugstore makeup because her face was too fat to look pretty. Mine was like hers, but thin. In the downstairs bathroom, she called me Mariah after the singer and taught me how to clutch the plunger like a microphone stand with one hand while reaching out to the audience with the other. She played her cassette single and told me the words to sing. I had a vision of love, and it was all that you turned out to be. She told me then, and she tells me now, that America is still great because anyone can become a celebrity or the president. Our father was disappointed that neither of us became either. Instead, his children were an obese single mother and a homosexual expatriate. We were boxes with nothing inside them, which he kept for a reason he either couldn't remember or had never thought of in the first place. At least the fat one nursed him in his old age. Senility made him soft, she wrote. His disappointment, I imagine, quietly graying into shapeless gratitude towards an attentive stranger. I have nostalgia for my sister, but can nostalgia ever lead you forward? Once I've flown back, there will be the same residential streets I threaded on a Schwinn at 15. Back and forth, mediocre houses line streets named for minor prophets, the vinyl screen doors of Amos, the discolored brick of Zephaniah, moss on the peeling up roofs of Hosea, and the Lord whispered in their ears that this would be their fate. I'm not sure the life I'll live will be my past or my future, or circle, a snake eating its own tail, practicing, and on the 10,000th time I'll live my life masterfully. I've never met the baby, but he's called Leonardo, not after the father, my sister tells me in her letters. He does not burp easily and has to be soothed from morning until early evening when he cries himself to sleep. President Truman was a colicky baby, she learned. So was Gregory Peck and Christopher Atkins from the Blue Lagoon. The baby's constant need feeds her. Before the day has begun, it's over, and she's grateful to this new life for distracting her from her own. A plastic baggie in her purse for every occasion. She tells me he has discovered his wiener, and she's worried he'll yank it off. She didn't want a boy. It would have been easier to see herself in a girl. But if I'm lucky, he'll turn out just like you, she says, only famous. He's not like me. All I ever wanted to do was sleep. I was a varsity level sleeper. That's why I thought this Nordic name was different, because at the end of the day, I was always a little sad to say goodbye when it came time to sleep. I grew up the kind of suburban kid with nowhere to be, and that just happened to be exotic for him. Early on, he told me I reminded him of the kids he saw on television, American kids on bikes, solving mysteries, taking in aliens. It's the differences that draw you in, but the sameness that makes you stay. They say any gay couple is like looking in a mirror, and that we don't have all the baggage that the straights have to lug. No roles, no scripts to read from in the little theater of marriage. But the truth is, it's not the Wild West. Sameness is knowable, and knowing it all is quite boring, even in a different language. All the tedious ways we come to rest on one another, no matter how many men you meet, no matter how many bedrooms you see and however many countries you visit, no matter how many words there are for it, when it comes to putting your head down, a pillow is a pillow is a pillow. In exchange for pillow, the half-Danish girl traded my ex-husband a Greenlandic word. It means to go outside over and over again to check if an expected visitor has arrived. Maybe she gave up on her birth parents ever coming to rescue her, or maybe she grew tired of waiting for her future to appear. She didn't manage to off herself, although she damaged her mouth, her vocal cords, her lips, her tongue, her ability to form words. It wasn't when she'd swallowed the chemicals, he told me, but rather after they'd had the chance to mix themselves up in her stomach, and her foster parents and the medics made her vomit them back up. That's when the damage was done. He said this last part more graphically than I say here. He said it while pouring himself the final cup of coffee from the French press, the cup that would have the thickest sludge in the bottom. After the story, he left me with a long-gone cold coffee cup, and here is why I think he walked out the door and didn't ask me to come with him, it's because dwelling in possibility sounds nice only in some languages.